Sound.
Yep, we're live. We're local.
And we are on the fives, as in episode 5, season 8.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
How'd you like that? How'd you like that lead in?
that was a good one.
It's kind of silly, but I like
And welcome to Throne Glow.
it. All right, dudes.
Nobody liked that one either. Well, guys.
All right, we're here. We're live. Episode
Dark
5.
Dome.
We have Dark Dome.
JT. We
Oh,
got
man.
Holmes.
A lot of
over
darkened
there.
domes today, my friend.
Yeah.
A lot of-
Cersei really put on, or not Cersei, Daenerys really put on her dark dome day.
yeah, she
Oh, God.
left a lot of domes black and charred today.
Yep.
A lot of dark
Spoilers
domes.
ahead.
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers just right out of the gate today.
Yeah.
So,
I
guys,
about said something about Cersei getting a dark dome.
so
She is a dark dome.
so
yeah,
fun
so-
here, but hot takes. Let's
Oh,
go.
God.
By the way, the episode
Oh.
name, which I think is of course cool for later, is The Bells.
Oh, it is the bells.
It is
Okay.
the bells.
Called The
like-
Bells.
So-
Episode 72, season 8, episode 5 for the season, The Bells.
The bells. Hot
Yeah,
takes.
those
Burning
goddamn
hot
bells.
takes.
Hot takes, glow takes.
Oh,
I mean, honestly, just a strict glow, I would say, I'm really conflicted, honestly. I want to say it's pretty bright, but I've got my reservations. I enjoyed it. I would say it's like, the flash right after a missile drops. I think that's pretty
Ooh.
accurate,
That's
Extreme-
enough to blind a man.
Yeah, it's enough to blind somebody. Not necessarily a good thing. Missiles aren't,
Right.
but I'll
Yeah.
go with that. We'll go with flash after a bomb.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go
I was gonna
on
say,
theme.
what are you gonna
Dragon
say?
fire.
Dragonfire?
Oh, come on.
Say that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's somebody's burning body that's just been burned with dragon fire.
So there's really no light. It's more of just a gentle
It's
glow.
really hot though, and they're dying.
No, I'm gonna say
No, I'm just kidding.
if
That
I had to
seems
take
too
mine
dark.
back, if you were to stare directly into a fully lit Bunsen burner, like when it gets just like white hot, and if you were to just stare directly into that, that's about where I'm at.
Oh, wow. I feel like I must have been the one who enjoyed it the most. Sounds like.
No, I loved it.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I'm just talking about the intensity of the glow, if you
Okay.
will.
Fair.
I can't think of anything that glows right now.
Wow.
To be honest.
Really
Oh,
letting
wow.
it down.
It's like your cone is just that blown, huh?
Yeah, it's like a. I don't know, man.
Well, let's
There we
just
have
move
it.
on to it, boys.
A firework?
The official
A
word
firework.
from Jessa here.
I'm like a firework.
She's like a firework. Boom, pow.
Yeah.
Boom pow. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Bright and surprising.
Yeah, so I think we're going to do the same thing we did last time. Try and do it chronologically, but this kind of,
It's gonna be hard for me. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but-
go and say, but
So, the episode starts with Varys. Varys getting arrested.
oh brother.
Man.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Varys, I think it was our last episode. I'm like, the spider's back. Yeah, the spider's back, baby. The spider is not back. The spider is
Yeah.
done. The spider is well
Spider
cooked.
is on his back with his legs curled up, burning.
I was not opposed to how it went down. I think
Yeah.
that the writing there was actually pretty good, as far as it followed a logical sequence of events. Tyrion, I was thinking the whole time, there's no way that Tyrion can be a loyal servant if he doesn't tell Cersei. Or Cersei, oh my
Yeah.
God. So I keep calling her Cersei now, Daenerys, about Varys. There's just no way. Because if he doesn't,
Right.
complicitly agreeing because he knows what Varys is going to try to do, So him
Right.
telling her made sense. Her reaction made sense. Everybody's reaction around it made sense.
Mhm.
I didn't love it.
I
as
knew
far-
right away he was dying though.
Oh yeah,
Once
there was.
that started in motion, I was like 100% this guy is so.
Oh yeah, and I am kind of shocked that Tyrion told her. I can see why his character would do it. I was hoping he would go the other way, honestly, because obviously, as we see, Varys was not wrong. He was.
Right,
He
exactly.
was in fact correct about what was about to happen. So Yeah.
Yeah, and it just sets the episode up for what comes later. And I mean, it's just she's at her wits' end. And I mean, I think that scene followed by the one with John, where
Yeah.
or maybe that was before or whatever. When anyway, she says, I guess I'd choose hate, or I suppose.
Fear. I guess it'll be fear.
She says, yeah, it'll be fear then.
Yeah, and so that's just setting up Mad Queen Daenerys here.
Yeah, but I do think that was like the key clutch moment. Like if he had just shown her some affection, I don't think any of this would have happened. I think it's like
maybe.
I mean it's a combination of all these things put together, but like that for her is like the last straw. You know, that's the one thing she can't handle. Now she's just like, okay, fuck everything. I'm just alone. I might as well be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, she's truly alone.
know?
I mean, aside from apparently Grey Worm, who is just like down.
Oh
He's-
yeah, that's what I have it written at the top of my notes here is just Danny and then in parentheses and Grey Worm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's who
he's
it is.
ride or die now.
He is. I
He's
mean, because
mad. He's filled with rage because they.
but yeah, they're like kind of bolstered by the same thing now, which of course is Missandei's death. So it's like he's seeing it the same way. It's not that he may not be morally conflicted or whatever, because it's like you can see him kind of like for a microsecond hesitate. He looks at John. He's like, oh yeah, this is about to happen. Like fucking strap in. And then, you know, of course, impales that dude with a javelin, which is what starts the whole sequence of events, really.
Yeah.
Right, which was awesome. I felt good about that.
I mean, it was a great scene. Like the whole thing went down really well. I had me literally like with my hands kind of like on top of my head, like, oh God. So, I mean, it was like, that's why like my reaction is positive. I think it's unfortunate that we've kind of come to where we have with a lot of plot lines and how rushed it is. And we only have one episode now, but the episode as a standalone was really good.
Yeah. And it had me doing crazy things, walking around crazy, putting my
hands
over my mouth or whatever. Yeah, like
just the tension that they build before Danny just lets all hell break loose.
With those bells.
They did a really good job.
Those bells. I was like, will somebody ring this goddamn bell right now?
You know what Radiohead says?
God.
Your alarm bells, they should be ringing. You know?
I was dying with that. And then it was like, oh, fuck that. It doesn't matter anyways.
Yeah, I thought that. Anyway, going back to the beginning of the episode, because now we're getting into the battle. So we start with Varys, and then we have what? We have Daenerys and Jon talking. So I agree, that was a pretty pivotal moment. Like, I don't know if she would have just not, but maybe not. Like, she may have not gone full on.
I was hanging by a thread whether or not she was going to. She was clearly conflicted there.
Yeah, and a lot of people had pointed out, because that scene was in the trailer maybe, of her just looking disheveled because her hair is normally in the Dothraki victory braids. They have a name for that, but I can't remember what it's called. But here, and I think somebody, or I'd watched on a video, someone suggested that Missandei was the one that would braid her hair for her, which makes a lot of sense. So like it's visually showing the loss of one of her best or one of her closest advisor, closest friends. You know, it's like visually taking a toll on her. And I really like that kind of idea. And because, thematically too, you know, she's lost all like wayposts or whatnot. So, you know, she's just alone in the world with a just weapon of mass destruction. Like,
and one of her babies and her closest advisor just got killed. So it's like she's extra.
And I did like the way that they used Grey Worm, because Grey Worm is like a soldier. All he knows how to do is fight. So it's like,
his role was appropriate.
Yeah, like if that is her last advisor, like it makes sense that he would just be like, let's like that's all he knows how to do. And the only thing that was holding him back, you know, same with Danny, was the person that they loved, you know. And Missandei's gone, and now Jon, she feels like John's kind of turned her back on him, so they're both just
turned
like
his back on her.
Or that's what I meant. But and then so I guess we could just because I mean that's really all the build up. I mean I like how they didn't spend too much time with the build up, you know.
Yeah, I kind of just got into it. I agree.
Yeah.
Right.
Considering that's all the time we have.
How about that shot though while she was up there on the dragon waiting for the bells? That was such a clutch shot, right? Like her acting in that was incredible.
Because it's like
you could see all these things in her head, you know, just from like the way she was looking. you know, and it's like this dragon is like, all right, are we going? Do we go? Are we about to go? He's like so ready for whatever she's about to tell him. You know?
Yeah, no, that was a cool
so
scene.
Dramatic.
But yeah, I agree, because you can see her like see the bells or hear the bells, and you can kind of see her like it dawn on her like, okay, that's what we were waiting for. And then of course there's like the waves of anger and just like her building it up. And
well, how did you guys feel about Tyrion kind of trying to hatch this ring the bells thing? Because I mean, he's the one, he lets Jaime loose, which is important.
Yeah.
Like before all of this, they have this plan of, well, if somebody can just ring the bell.
I was kind of down with it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think
except the only part I hated about his plan was the letting Cersei go. That was the only part I hated of the theory.
Yeah, it gives them an escape plan.
Yeah, just because I didn't want her to escape. But
yeah,
everything else I'm totally done with. Because he was ultimately really trying to save the people. And he knew that, you know, like, it was a very, like I said at the time, it was like a very classical utilitarian scenario here, where he's like, my life, this one life doesn't matter compared to all these people. Like, this is what we're doing this for, right? You know, like, so he's really trying to do the right thing, I think.
Yeah, because Varys, just to bring it back to him for a second, kind of gets, it's effective. Yeah, like he is kind of is effective with what he's trying to say, like take care of the realm. It rubs, and it's the thing that pushes Tyrion over the edge to really really like take the jump and betray Dany there. It was
well, I mean, and what's telling is that he does consider it betrayal, of course, but not in the same way that Varys is talking. Because Varys is straight up like, I'm killing Dany. Like, you know, I mean, he told him as much, really. I mean, he did. And I guess you can read it either way, of him asking the little bird or whatever, the girl, about the food, which I read it at first as him trying to poison her. And then I guess you can take it as him just being told she hasn't eaten again. But like, I definitely took it as like, oh, she hasn't eaten in days. Like, damn it. Like, I'm trying to poison her, you know?
Yeah. I actually didn't pick up on
I hadn't
sense.
thought much about it, but now that you're saying that
was the first thing I thought. And then when they mentioned
I was kind of confused at first. I think maybe like, I don't know if I wasn't paying
because like, why would he need the little bird? Or
I was confused.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it would just be Grey Worm being like, nah, she hasn't eaten again, if he just wanted to know. So obviously, I thought that he was trying to, because he knows, like, it's not like he can do this long plot to kill her. Like, he knows that his time is very short. So, I mean, in his mind, he's probably doing everything he can, short of, you know, asking one of the soldiers to do it. Because, I mean, of course, that would be suicide. You know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and then, but one thing, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about so we're up to that. I mean, Cersei was staring down.
Here she is in the window again.
Oh yeah,
Cersei
stare out the window.
Yeah, her ending was so pathetic. I thought. I mean, both how she died.
As long as she dies, I almost don't care.
Well, she would be gone.
I mean, she dies in her lover's arms. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And it's Jaime, and his whole arc is just bunkus.
Oh, God. Oh, his arc is... I hate the ending of that, but... It's like I understand
was pretty stupid. I'll be honest with you.
Well,
I had no real feelings about that.
What I wanted was to happen is they both die right there. Just both die.
That would have been a little bit better, yeah.
Both die right there.
I don't know how.
For him to get away is stupider to me. That he makes it to Cersei or whatever. Like, no, just let them die on the shore there. They're just dead. You know? Bye.
Yeah. Well,
that to me seems better and more realistic.
Yeah, if there's one thing this episode did do, though, it was payoff city, man. They were really swinging for the fences here, because you had you know, Cersei and Jaime dying together. You get the Clegane Bowl, which we can get to later. You get Dany just fire and blood. And yeah, you get Euron dying, which nobody ever really liked Euron.
Everyone hates him, so yeah. See ya.
It was just a lot of. It was a bit gratuitous, but overall, I thought. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
I thought that for sure they, like, in that Jamie Euron fight, they were gonna at least talk about the baby, and that would be a thing that would, like,
the baby did just kind of disappear.
drive them further to it. It's like he kind of alluded to it. He just said he fucked her, but it's not like he didn't say, and the, blah, 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 my seed, or something stupid like that. Like, I really expected that to come to a head and that be, like, help spur them on further in the fight.
Or at least even, like, I mean, so theoretically, neither of them knows the other knows that Cersei has a baby because they both knows. So, like, it could have even been so much as, like, when Jamie is fighting, he's just like, and I'm getting back to Cersei and I'm leaving with our baby. And, Euron's like, wait, the fuck? Like, or vice versa. Euron is just like, yeah, dude, I fucking have a baby. Like, Cersei and I'm the king. Instead of just being like, oh, I fucked the queen, that's why I'm the king. He should be like, I have a prince. Like, how can I not be the king? And then, of course, Jamie could be like, no, dog, that's my baby, LOL. Like,
yeah, I kind of expected a little something like that. Yeah. I guess that's like, maybe if it did happen, we would think it's stupid, but
I mean, what other purposes the baby serve? Like,
what was this baby?
To bring Jamie back to Cersei. I mean, that's it.
You think that's
the pitch is kind of like, if not for you, do it for your unborn child.
Right. I guess.
And if not, do it for
yourself.
Except
that he'll do it for her. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, he made that pretty clear. He doesn't
actually care about the baby. He only cares about her.
I mean, I guess you're right. Like, it was a narrative tool for that, but I just don't think it was necessary because he didn't focus on it enough. He didn't talk about the baby. He talked about Cersei. Like, when he looked at Brienne, he didn't say, I have a child. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't actually care about it. He only cares about her.
There's also a big motivation for Tyrion as well to do what he
Right. Well, Tyrion thinks, I mean, if anything...
Oh, yeah. That's the only way that it actually makes sense because it did actually spur him into this whole thinking of, like, well, I know what she will do for her kids or whatever, and that's anything. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's the only way that this whole baby thing even made sense as a narrative arc at all is for Tyrion. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That makes me feel a little bit better about it.
And as many payoffs as there were a lot of things just kind of cut short. Like, I think Varys' whole plot line again got kind of cut short. Mm-hmm. Like, Euron just seemed, I mean, I guess his thing was he killed the dragon or whatnot, but his fleet just gets straight murked. Like, they just get destroyed. Qyburn also just gets smashed against the wall.
Oh, I love that. I can't lie. Like, when he picked him up and just smashed him right into the thing, I was like, hell yeah, that guy's been getting on my nerves. That's exactly how he needs to be treated.
But just overall, how do you feel about just the destruction of King's Landing?
Aside.
Like, that was, I loved it.
I did like that. I mean, I hated the idea of it being kind of like a real war, where it's like really did feel down on the thing with the people. But, because there were some shots that I was like, this legit could be like just a shot from Syria or something. You know what I mean? Like some real, like, you're down on the ground. You have no fucking idea what's going on. It's terrifying. It's bad because these are just innocent people. But the whole, like, dramatic fire of these dragons going through the thing, I have to admit it was pretty, like, gratuitous to see that. Just, like, how much destruction can this thing do?
Yeah, well, that was almost silly, though, and not because of that, because that's how I think a lot of us have pictured it. I mean, or at least thought, like, okay, the dragons. I mean, you only take one good dragon, basically, and you can take any town or any city or castle or whatever you want, which is shown to be true. Like, I mean, the army didn't even really need to do anything. I mean, the infantry came in and just sort of ran up to the first group of soldiers, and those first group of soldiers were like, yeah, we're good, actually, we're fine. So, I mean, granted, there was a battle, but only because of Daenerys and Grey Worm, but that's like what we expected. But then, how, like, it kind of, like, he has no problems. Like, they don't even find a clever solution with the scorpions. She's just like, oh, I'll just fly in a way they're not already aiming. Like, Jesus Christ, obviously, like, it just made it seem so silly that any of her dragons ever. Like that, I don't know.
Jessica mentioned that at the end. There's two things I want to mention to that point. First off is Yeah, the one dragon, I think they really played up that Viserion or Rhaegal. Sorry,
Rhaegal.
was the other one. Rhaegal, like, was injured for one, didn't have a rider for two. So I think having a rider on it, so you can kind of maneuver him more, is supposed to be a thing.
Okay.
Maybe.
I didn't even think
I
about
don't
the
really know.
rider.
And three, it was supposed to be an ambush, so they didn't know it was there. Like,
I know, but what I'm
so-
saying is just like
It's still stupid.
it seemed like she just flew right into the hornet's nest and didn't care, which is what you think the dragon should be able to do. Like I didn't think there was anything wrong with how she just decimated King's Landing. Like I think that's how it should be. Like she's got a full-grown ass dragon. Like I get it. I understand why Drogon or Rhaegal went down. He was injured. He was alone. Like I just think it still was depicted as being like too easy for how powerful Drogon obviously was.
Look at it, and this is the second thing I was going to say, is if you look at it through the lens of when she first gets to Dragonstone, like back in season 7, at the episode 1, I think, when she lands, like the whole idea of her not just flying in and destroying everything, like that's the whole kind of point of everything that they do. That idea drives the whole plot of like, we can't just go in there and blow everything up.
Right.
But for you to accept that, you have to realize that like that is an option the whole time. Like it's as easy as flying in there and burning everything to the ground. Like I can do that. I have that. I can do it anytime I want to do it.
Mhm.
And like everything has been going into how do we not get her to do that? You know what I mean?
That's true.
And so I think if you look at it like that, like through that lens, this is the culmination of all of those things like failing. Like all of those people failed. Like we tried, they tried, and they tried, and like it was just inevitable from the beginning. Like she's just that's just who she is. She's like fire and blood. She's these dragons.
Or even like not that's what she was going to do, and you failed worse. Like you had all these chances to change something along the way, but like
we'll see
all these things lined up in a way that you actually, all the people around her did fail, if that was the thing.
Yeah,
you know?
And this is one of my biggest questions coming out of this episode is like, I mean, isn't Jon just as bad as Dany? Like, he saw what was happening, and he is one person that could have made a difference. He could have been like stepped in and done something to save these people, but he just kind of turned a blind eye to it, did the honorable thing, like, oh, you're my queen, like, he sees what the hell's going on. You know what I mean?
Well, by the time...
Like, isn't he just as culpable? Like, isn't he as much to blame?
Oh, yeah,
you know
which is why I think it won't end with him on the Iron Throne now either, because it's like the people are now traumatized by this battle. You know, they're not going to accept anybody because, like, I mean, how are they going to then reasonably come out and be like, oh, okay, so here's like, because even if, say, something crazy happened, like Jon overthrows Daenerys, like he is part of a plot or he just straight up kills her or whatever, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but say it is, and he's just like, hey, you know, I'm Aegon Targaryen, like I guess I'm the king now. But, you know, in the people's eyes, he was the general or one of the commanding officers of this horrible atrocity that just occurred.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, he can say all he wants, like, oh, I didn't, you know, I wasn't for that, like I didn't know. But then it just makes him look incompetent, which apparently he is, because we're not incompetent,
pretty like naive
or naive, right?
He's
That's what he is.
Naive. Just like his not dad.
Ned, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Making
and
the
who
same
else
mistakes.
is like this? So good that it's to his weakness.
Like, but if not
Good
Jon,
old
then,
Ned.
like who's going to be the king or queen or whatever? That's what I'm curious about. We can talk about that at the end or later on. I feel like that's a big question, but
yeah.
But yeah, I just felt like
But he was kind of like, I mean, he just did the predictable Jon.
Yeah, of course.
Mr. Naive. Like, I can still stop this. There's still hope here, blah, blah, blah. Maybe this will happen.
Yeah, and his character has
like,
become a little boring, like a little one note.
It's like, aw, you're like a little Cub Scout or something.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas,
you're not like really like in the ways of the world, bro.
Whereas up into that last moment where she's sitting there and the bells are ringing and it's like, what's she gonna do? Like there's tension there. There's real tension, I thought. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Is like, what is she actually gonna do?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I think there's none of that with Jon anymore. He's kind of just like,
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I think that he doesn't. His character, whether it's because the actor or how they show him or whatever, doesn't show it very well or often because he's all, "Oh, you're my queen," or but it's like when Tyrion looks at him and right before they go in, and it's like, hey, when the bells ring, right, like we're gonna stop, and Jon just doesn't say anything and looks straight ahead, because I feel like in his heart of hearts, he's like, yeah, sure, okay, like we'll stop. I mean, and obviously he does. So he accepts these soldiers surrender. He does when it happens. So I'm not saying he was like, yeah, I'm gonna just keep going, but I think he knew, like, yeah, sure, when the bell stops, I'm sure Daenerys is gonna stop. Like, I don't think he wanted to admit it, but I think, like, how else do you read that? Because why wouldn't he just be like, yeah, of course, Tyrion, we're going to stop if they surrender. Like, duh.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Instead, he just
culpable. He's just as to blame for all of this.
I mean, if just by sheer, like
even thinking that was going to be a thing, then yeah. I mean, you had the chance, yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Another question I had about this episode was, and I feel like, just as a quick sidebar, that like after episode breakdown that Dan and Dave usually do.
Oh, I didn't watch that, unfortunately, this time.
Well, I feel like they use it more and more to explain themselves, like as almost like they feel like they have to do this, which is kind of a weird. It doesn't feel like a bonus. It almost feels like you have to watch that, you know?
Yeah.
I agree.
Which is kind of a weird thing, but
it is weird.
I
guess they're trying. I don't know.
They have a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
But they had mentioned that they wanted it to feel, or in these circumstances before, you're usually in the in the footsteps of the hero, like the action is following the heroes, and he really wanted to focus on just like the regular people, like what it was like to be on the ground for just these regular people getting their world just literally burned and crushed around them, which again makes sense thematically, because like I said before, like that's saving these people was the whole point of all of these things they went through, and so it's like for the people to be the center of the show for the last like 30 minutes of the last, whatever time they spent destroying King's Landing was an interesting choice, and I get it. And it kind of makes sense in a vacuum. Like if this were like, I understand that artistic decision, but I just wanted to spend more time with the characters. Like I get that, you kind of want to subvert people's expectations and like do something new and cutting edge or whatever, but this is the second to last episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be spending time with the characters.
Well, it also built up the anticipation more, though, because you were like, well, where's Arya? What's Jaime doing? You know what I mean? Like, you, were in more anticipation waiting for those scenes.
Yeah, and what I'm speaking most to are those scenes of Arya just running through the city and it getting destroyed. Like,
yeah.
Again, they explain why they did that. It's, you want this ground view of ground zero of the world just getting blown up. But like, I got a little bored with Arya just running around, like trying to save these random black shirts, like that you don't know their names. Like,
well, she had that whole thing with that one lady back and forth a few times.
Yeah, but that time could have been spent with like Arya and the Hound, like on their approach, like any of these other things you could have used that time for. I don't know.
And yeah, what was the deal with Arya and the horse? Is that like her horse in the beginning or something? I don't understand.
I don't know about that.
Why she got this super slow-mo with this horse in the last 2 minutes of the episode was her just walking slowly towards this horse.
I don't know about that horse, unless it's Bran. That's what I said to Jared. I was like, maybe.
Oh, God. Dude, that's what he got.
He can't pick her up. It's like a really... Yeah, it's like Bran or Lyft.
Bran was just...
Oh, man. Bran's somewhere in a K-hole.
I'm just kidding. I just thought that was a funny thing. Because it's like, what else? Why is this horse so...
Right.
Like,
it's
who is
weird.
it?
And
like,
Bran was just watching in his Ravens, just chilling.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't really think it's Bran.
I mean, I interpreted that as just like some PTSD. Her just being like...
And another just lucky horse sitting around for someone to pick it up.
Yeah, and it's just literally the only other life, like just any life
just
form at all.
Maybe just the thing about how good she just is at surviving. all these situations. You know what I mean? Like, it's like in these situations where still she should have died so many times over.
Yeah.
Somehow Arya like makes it through these just like crazy things.
Yeah.
Does that explain the horse?
It doesn't explain the horse. It's just like a lucky like salvation for her or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, unless somebody knows what that horse, like if that horse has some sort of significance, like as far as, again, it was her first horse or any, like, I just can't see it making any worthwhile sense aside from it being Bran. Good Lord. or it only exists for a cinematic purpose. Like there's no story behind it. It just exists, like kind of how Jess was saying, to give Arya this, like her character, this feeling of like, I've survived. Like, here's this awesome thing. Like, it's sort of like seeing the sun, you know, at the end of a dark tunnel. Like, unless it's that, it's just a purely cinematic device, and kind of absurd that this horse would be alive in this blood.
And how this horse alive anyways too, you know.
So like, I think it's fucking.
Was it the horse she rode in on?
I mean,
she didn't ride in on a horse. They were walking.
No, she didn't. Yeah, you're right. Well, they did at some point. I mean, they were riding.
I guess some point.
Yeah, because they when they approached the.
I hope it is her same one.
I mean, if that's the case, and that's fine. That it's some sort of fucking crazy, because it's like, how did her horse find her and whatever. But I'm willing to look over that if.
And the horse is like, look how bloody I am.
Yeah.
She's like, look how bloody I am.
I was expecting it to pull the horse to just pull his mask off, and it was going to be Jockin.
But that's right.
Wow. A man
for a second, what I wanted to happen was that Arya kill Jaime, take his face, and then as Jaime's face, kill Cersei.
I was really hoping.
That's what I really wanted. That was like, and at the same time, the Clegane Bowl is going on.
Dude, check this out. I've got a good one here.
How did you feel about Clegane Bowl?
I've been through a desert, by the way, on a horse with no name. That's the trick. The horse's name is America, and it's Jaqen H'ghar. Okay, I'm ready. I'm riding this to the grave.
You're all about Jaqen H'ghar.
Dude, I bring back Jaqen.
Find out any horse information, babe?
I can't find the scene.
Oh, and how do we feel about Clegane Bowl? I mean, it was pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely thought I was about to see his head smashed, which was.
I thought his eyes were smashed out for sure that one time, right?
He pulled a.
But then he still saw.
He pulled the old peekaboo.
The classic. He went to his old move.
I really thought that was about to happen.
What?
He went to his old move. His Oberyn smash your skull.
Because that's how he killed Oberyn. He grabbed him, punctured his eyes, and just ripped his skull apart. I mean,
that's how he killed like a baby too. He smashed his head.
What a brutal thing, man! What a brutal thing. Yeah,
how did you feel about the way he looked? And he just gets a dagger right in the face, and he just goes to pull it out.
And then he's just like, "Oh, this is fine. I can deal with this."
Yeah, I thought the whole showdown was funny because, like, I'm not funny, but like good. Like, it wasn't as epic as I was hoping. Like, it didn't make any sense for the Hound to like fight him in a stairwell, like tactically.
Okay, well, especially when Cersei just like sneaks off behind him too.
Well, I think she knew, like, the Hound, like, had he wasted any energy on Cersei, that like the Mountain would liable have cleaved him in half. You know, like he had to. It
would have been worth it.
He wasn't there for Cersei. You know, I mean, Arya was.
I know.
But he wasn't there for Cersei.
Yeah.
He didn't give a fuck.
It just seems like it wouldn't take that much effort. Like you could just do a quick swipe and then to your brother.
Yeah,
I mean, at least slash in the face.
To go at him at giving the Mountain the higher ground. I didn't like that.
Well, come on, man. We played enough Dark Souls. You never fight big enemies in stairwells. Come on.
You never do that. You never.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't do it because, like, the whole point is the giant or the Mountain's huge. You should want to be I mean, again, I'm not about to be like, oh, it's not a realistic fight. I don't care that much about that. It's you know, but it was like the whole fight was pretty good. Like the Hound, I mean, died in a fire pit. Like very, very classic, very Hound-like.
Right.
Very.
It was very epic, and I believe after the episode they used the word apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, they've used that word a couple times now just to describe things. But I mean, I thought it was good. I didn't like the double.
How about when he started laughing?
I thought that was great. I thought that was the most.
I kind of liked that too.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, oh,
he
God.
was like literally like, I'm fucking dying right now and choking. But
But I think it was also like a thrill because I mean he was like, I'm here, man. This is the whole.
He's like, I've been here for this for so long,
he was in ecstasy as he was getting his eyeballs pried out.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure it's not what he wanted. I'm sure he was hoping to just cut him down, but
he knew he was gonna die.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't think he had any expectation of getting out of there alive. So.
Well, he says it as much to Arya, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is why he's so. I mean, which, by the way. Can we walk back and talk about that, which I thought was another really, really, really good moment and honestly a good arc that ends, like the Arya Hound arc.
Yes.
With that, I thought that was fucking incredible, honestly. Like the writing there was pretty good. Like she calls him his name for like the first time,
Yeah.
And she says it very softly. She doesn't even like call at him like urgently. It's like a Sandor. It's very gentle, like Sandor. Like, oh my God, dude. Yeah. Because it's very like, she knows, like, we're about to part ways. Like, I mean, the only person who could even potentially ever understand Arya for what she's been through is the Hound or Jaqen, maybe. Other than that, like, I'm serious. Like, right? Like, who else has seen Arya through what she's done?
Jaqen.
Like, I mean, and then Bran, but Bran is, he's in
everything.
So.
He sees everything. He sees everything.
Yeah. But like, so it's like, it's not, I wouldn't say he's her best
friend. I did like
their
little
connection,
Yeah. Their little buddy relationship. I liked that.
Yeah, I thought it was a good moment.
There was a lot of little buddies parting ways this time that were really sad.
Which is what you would expect. I mean, and
little buddies.
So like, what else? What else we missed? There was just everybody.
Jaime and Tyrion, little buddy.
Oh, that was pretty good.
I almost did start crying.
Scene, yeah.
It was so emotional.
Yeah, I felt okay about it. I mean,
and I felt crazy about it for Tyrion, honestly, because I was like, this guy is fucking crazy, but he is trying to do the right thing. So
yeah, I mean, Tyrion's like not chaotic good. He's like, where would he be on the alignment chart right now? Like, I really don't know.
I feel like he is that.
Chaotic
I don't know that much about that stuff, but to me, that's like, what he seems like.
I think he's maybe more neutral good, but still, like, he's trying to be the right thing regardless of. I mean, Varys, I guess, is the neutral good. I don't know, man. It's really hard for me to say. I don't really. None of them
know about that stuff.
Hierarchies. Well, it's like, so think about what it means. Like your top. Well, I'm not about to break down the thing, but basically, neutral good is like he's not bound by the higher courts necessarily in the laws, which would be lawful good, always doing the right thing because it's the law, and he's not chaotic good, which is just kind of doing whatever you want as long as it's like a good thing, like Robin Hood, I guess.
Vigilantes.
Or vigilantes, yeah. He's like in the middle. He's like trying to follow a standard in the law, but he's also not completely bound to it to the point of, being like going along with potential genocide, So I don't know. Anyway, we don't have to get into all that. That doesn't really matter. We don't have to break all that down. Actually, some of our more D&D oriented friends that listen to this would probably have a lot to say about that. So
right.
Calling out you, Mike.
Yeah, I know, right? He's just trying to do the right thing he's trying to not see these people get roasted alive.
Yeah.
I did get the feeling that, like, what I was hoping didn't happen and why I think I was so satisfied with what did happen was, like, they ring the bells, they call the dogs off, and then Cersei, like, pulls a trick. Like, pulls something out of her hat and, like, shoots down a dragon, Like, I was very disappointed, and I thought that's what was going to happen. So, like, yeah, when she just started unleashing all hell on people, I was like, all right, cool, yeah, I feel good about this.
Yeah.
And how about that? The Golden Company just marches out, and then there's just a literally exploding wall of flames.
Oh yeah, that was pretty satisfying.
Kind of silly that they hyped him up at all. Like, that's another one of those things that they used to make it like it was all needless drama building. Like, they could have built the tension so much better because obviously they introduced him as like to make the viewer be like, oh my god, but Cersei has this big army. She has the Golden Company. Like, that might turn the battle around. But then, I don't know. I mean, it was hilarious, and I thought it was a great show of power and a cool part of the episode when they just all got decimated. Like, I thought that was awesome, honestly. I mean, it was, I thought it was a little silly because they hype this army up and they make it seem like it's going to be a thing, and they're going to pull something out of a hat with them, and then they just get obliterated, which was pretty funny.
Yeah. I loved it. And then,
hold on. I have to make a quick aside about the Dragonfire, though. Can we talk about the sort of like I don't know what you call it, the sort of power, like the blasting power of these things.
Oh yeah, when she just blasts through a tower.
Yeah, she's just like
Oh, yeah.
cleaving buildings in half.
Blast
Like,
everything. Yeah.
I mean,
Everything's in rubble now.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Which is
I mean, I really am curious. Like, that means, I mean, I don't
very
know.
hot.
But
Very
it's
hot
very
fire.
but, like a lot of force. Like that dragon
Yeah.
is the muscles that shoot that fucking dragon fire out.
The
Are,
other thing is,
I
for
mean-
once, I feel like for once in this show's history, I mean, not for once, but for once in the most recent times, like I feel like they got something like with the book pretty accurate. Like a dragon's destructive power is supposed
It's
to
supposed to be
like
like that.
yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah.
supposed to be able to just blast things and just melt people alive, like
Mhm.
and melt stone. Like it's supposed to be hot enough to just turn castle
Yeah.
walls into like molten lava.
That's
And
great.
like liquid hot magma. She's Dr. Evil now. So is she full
Um,
evil? What do we think here?
I
mean,
think
is she
she's
full
just so
Mad
filled
Queen?
with rage now. I mean, I don't think, of course, this isn't regular life, but I'd like to apply still my regular theory. I don't think that anyone is still all the way bad, you know? But I think she's just so filled with rage that she can't see anything else. She got too hurt by everybody dying and everything that went down the way it has. She can't see through it.
Well,
She's
yeah,
all
she gave-
alone.
She gave love a
She's
shot. and
already
it didn't
got
work.
that, maybe crazy genes in her. So it's just like it just flipped her over the edge, But I don't think that means that she's like 100% insane and evil. I think it's like a much more nuanced thing for her.
Yeah.
But
I
now
don't know.
she's like crossed it. She's crossed the thing where she knows
Well, yeah.
it has to be scary. But
Yeah, she's gonna.
she
I mean,
clearly
she's
was conflicted about it though.
yeah. Calling her evil, I think, is like wow. It seems easy. Like, oh, of course she's evil. She just. I mean, she literally just decimated a population of innocents after they surrendered. I mean, she could have just killed the soldiers, but instead she just ran through the streets blasting like
Everything.
orphans. I mean, it was outrageous. Like, because when
loved
she
it.
first.
I love
When
it.
when she first went in, I thought like, okay, yeah, fuck the surrendering army. Like, she's not going to just like surrender and like come to some sort of terms. Like, no, she's going to decimate the army. She's going to kill Cersei. Like, I was cool with that. And then I was like, she's going to kill some civilians in the process, and that's going to be controversy, but she's going to come out of it like with some sort of gray area of being able to be like, look, I only did what I had to do. Like, yes, I killed some civilians, but now, I mean, how can she argue
That's
that? Like,
too boring though.
yeah, she was just blazing through the streets, just some shots, just killing streets of things that were only civilians running for their lives. Just one soldier in a group of 100 and just blasting through them. Like,
She's making good on the promise she made a long time ago. She's
To burn the whole thing.
she's gonna crush the wheel. Okay,
yeah, I guess, man.
she's gonna break the wheel.
Well, the wheel is broken. I mean, Jesus.
I think she's.
Dang, I was about to say something a second ago. Forgot it.
I mean, yeah, there's no real turning back now. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting last episode. I think they've set it up pretty well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but how many?
They've got to wrap all of this up though.
Oh
in an hour.
god, I'm so nervous.
problem, like, because they're
I'm
gonna.
so nervous.
Yeah,
They're gonna have a 45-minute Q&A section afterwards.
Yeah,
Where
the
they-
next episode literally just it's like
Here's what
300
actually
years
happened.
later.
Yeah, it's just like somebody reading a story. Like
No, it's gonna be
Like
Ned
in
waking
Princess
up, and it was just a
Bride.
nightmare.
it's like gonna be Princess Bride style. Someone just narrates their whole last part.
No,
Like they're
I'm
reading a
telling you,
storybook.
It's gonna be Sam.
it's gonna be Sam.
Yeah,
is,
it'll be Sam in the library reading it
Reading
to
the
his
little Sam.
baby. To his baby. Yeah,
little
reading
Sam.
it to John, his son.
oh yeah, old John's his son John. What is Tarley? So John Tarley. What a name.
Strong name.
It's a strong name.
Oh, I was gonna say one thing I did like about Daenerys not just coming in and blasting Cersei right away is that Cersei had full time to realize she'd lost. So you
Oh,
saw
yeah.
her full emotional wreckage of like oh damn, I'm about to lose. Oh damn, I'm actually scared right now. Oh my gosh, I have to retreat. Oh my gosh, this is what it's like to actually lose. Everything I've ever worked for, I failed. I suck. My baby's gonna die.
Yeah,
You
but,
know,
like,
it's like,
the thing is-
but if she just got blasted right away, there's like none of that. You know, she just dies.
Yeah,
It's fine.
she
I
didn't
kind of
really
like
have
to
many
see her
lines,
suffer
did
for a
she?
second.
Like she had like 5 lines maybe in the whole
She didn't say a
episode.
lot.
She didn't say a lot. Like it did her character wrong too. Like I am glad, of course, that she died. She needed
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But in the
Perfect,
rubble
right.
like that,
And like not even just that, like the way that she just stood there and was in denial. Like I get it, that's supposed to, like, if you take that writing as good writing and is showing what Cersei has truly been like, which is an out of touch, essentially way underestimating dragons kind of person, which is she shouldn't be. Like this, I mean, you know what I mean? Like she
only
should
a way
be,
underestimating dragons kind of.
yeah, like I'm just saying that, but she shouldn't be. Like she should be smarter than that. Like her character has been portrayed as being more intelligent than that. Right, but it's like, and for her to just stand there and be like, no, we're good, while these dragons are just erasing her fucking kingdom, and she can see it, and the whole time, I mean, and I get it, she starts to waver, and she has this moment, and I guess it's supposed to show that she was really that confident. But for her to have no backup plan, no nothing, and I don't know, I just thought that the way she went down was, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be a death of hubris, like she's super proud, and that was her downfall, and I guess that's fine. But I don't know. I can't like think of a better ending like off the top of my head. Like,
I can think of one. Somebody kills her instead of just a bunch of rocks falling.
Well, yeah, and she gets to die in the arms of her lover. Like,
oh, gosh.
But it also hypes her up to be like, you have the White Walker thing, right? Of course, that whole little thing that got wrapped up so cleanly, and then it's like, oh, Cersei's the big bad, but then she wasn't. There was no fight. There was no nothing.
And her mountain didn't even defend her. She said, defend me. He said, I gotta go fight my brother, dude.
And then he just
fuck Qyburn.
He said, bye.
Fuck this guy in particular real fast. I mean, that was one of the most satisfying
I love that.
like show was Qyburn just getting his head smashed into the wall.
It was so
pumpkin.
good.
It was wild.
Just cast aside.
So last episode had Rhaegal getting shot out of the sky. This one had Qyburn getting spiked off the wall. Like,
oh, I love that part.
Yeah, but just back to Cersei. I mean, and you also Jaime gets stabbed pretty significantly twice.
Yeah, he should have died on the beach with his douchebag friend.
And Euron, by the way, gets some. Like, could they have made that guy any worse? Like, I really don't.
Who?
Euron.
Oh,
when his last line is like, "Oh, I killed Jaime Lannister," and it's
they could have had him holding a PBR instead of a bag of wine.
Yeah, they had a Starbucks last episode. So
yeah, I was about to say, instead of leaving a Starbucks cup on the table at the Great Hall, you just go ahead and put hipster douchebag with a PBR. Why not? Fuck everything, right?
Yeah.
No, but Jaime for real, like, couldn't breathe for a second. Remember that? It was like his were punctured, and then all of a sudden he's like all the way back to Cersei.
Yeah, and then make it, and then because so let's be clear, they would have gotten away had their exact escape route not collapsed on them.
Yeah. Right. Well, I guess you could see that as like a kind of symbolic thing where it's like there's always been a way out for her. It's like despite all these like different circumstances, she's always like found the way out, and some escape, some like thing. And then this time it's like, oh, this plan is crushed. Okay, we're trapped here. And then it's like this one's trapped. We're trapped here. And then it's like it all crushes in on her. It's like kind of symbolic for her whole thing, but it's just still stupid. I just wanted somebody to kill her.
Well, I don't even care about that so much. I just think that, and I guess it's supposed to show that, again, that Cersei was this whole time was out of touch, was not truly understanding what was going on, was acting out of fear. Because, I mean, she dies afraid, of course, and she has this, please don't let me die, Jaime, which is such a weak thing for a character like Cersei to say, which I get it. She's in her last moments. Like, everybody has that fear of death. Like, she's in her brother lover's arms,
Yeah.
Like, I get it. She's reverting back to a more human state, and she's terrified. Like, I feel like that's legitimate, but I don't know. It just felt a little like she just stared at this thing and she didn't like. She just watched it happen. Like I just feel like the Cersei that we grew up, whatever, watching would have reacted somewhat differently. At least in my mind, that she would have had some backup plan. She would have had another scorpion up there. She would have told the mountain to jump out of the window and land on its head and fucking try to eat it. You know, like like she would have like done something. Instead, she just stood there in complete denial, complete disbelief until it was late enough that her aides around her were being crushed by rubble. Like, you know.
It's the same thing they did with Brienne last episode, where it's like you think that she would like you build her up to act one way, and then at the very end, at the most crucial time,
they act a different way.
Yeah, she acts like a scared little girl.
Yeah, basically, this show's writing is the whole moral of the thing is that every woman is either a scared little girl or a bitch that shouldn't be trusted.
Oh yeah,
there's no alternative. You have to end up as one of these. Arya now falls in the scared little girl because she had to go through all this stuff and she was scared today.
She might kill Dany, I'm thinking.
I hope she does.
I'm hoping that's what she does because she can't kill Cersei, apparently.
She's the only woman left with any kind of real
Sansa.
Narrative anymore. Well, yes, but
I mean, I think it's going to be interesting how it ends.
I just don't think there's enough
time, man. I'm very nervous about the time, too. It just feels like there's too much to do and too little time.
Because it's like they have to wrap up. Like, the thing with, like, okay, because, I mean, I was hoping for some sort of epilogue, like, general thing. But it's like, how much can they possibly get through? So there's going to be some sort of battle with Dany. I mean, her army is the army. I mean, that, Jon doesn't really have an army of his own. So it's going to have to be some sort of subterfuge if they kill her at all.
Right. There is no army. She's got the only army.
Right. And, and of course there's the issue of Drogon, and I'm pretty sure Dany is not going to just leave herself exposed. Like she, after this battle, will know what's happening. She'll know the score. Like she's the tyrant ruler now. She knows it. She's going to lead through fear. Like, and I just cannot see how they can do that, wrap that up in one episode and wrap up any number of other storylines. Like, I mean, I get it. There's too many to wrap up, but like, there's a whole lot that could use some touching on. Like, can we even see every character again? Like, are we going to see Bran, or is it just Three-Eyed Raven, peace, never again? Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
There's I think they've hinted a little bit at her leaving, just like not staying. I mean, because that was part of the thing is like her whole, like she had the choice to keep King's Landing intact and rule from King's Landing or literally burn it to the ground. Like, and she chose burn it to the ground. So like, if you're trying to rule something, that's not what you do. You know what I mean? Like and I think they hinted at it earlier when she was like, no one here loves me.
Yeah.
Meaning like none of the people have any love for her. And I know that like played to the whole fear thing, but I think it's maybe hinting at like she just won't stay in Westeros. She just might just be like, I crushed the will and now I'm fucking out. Like, you want Jon as your ruler, have him. I'm done. Peace out. Fuck y'all. Like,
I would be really surprised if she does that.
Yeah, it's possible because she, like, with her admitting that people love Jon, and like, I think that's a pretty big in her character development. It makes her real, like, she didn't even, I mean, she was saying it jealously, of course, but for her to even be able to admit that the people don't want her, they want Jon. Like, I thought that was pretty big. I mean, granted, big of her is really whatever at this point. She just massacred a city, but
they deserved it.
Oh my God, dude, what are you? You should have been. Never mind. I'm not gonna make that joke. That was really inappropriate. I was meant to make like some sort of old war joke. I shouldn't do that.
No, you shouldn't.
No, but these things are terrible, and it's like Daenerys. Like, I still think her character has a lot of worth. Like, I don't think it's like, oh, she's bad now. Like, she could do any number.
I don't know. It seems like they've put it as a thing, like she's crossed the line.
I mean, I still wouldn't if she literally just roasts everyone, like Tyrion, Jon, everybody. Just
everyone.
I fully expect her to get some sort of tribunal together or whatever, a council, pull everybody together, and she's like, all right, who's got a problem with what I just did? You know, like, what's up? And Drogon's going to be sitting behind her, and they're going to be like,
I can only hope for that. Because Sansa somehow kicks Dany off of Drogon and then rides her. And then Sansa is the ruler.
And she's like, psych, I'm a Targaryen too.
Yeah. Sansa's
I don't
also
know.
a secret Targaryen. That's what her and Bran have been doing this whole time.
Oh, by the way, I of course looking at it on Reddit as I it's got all the best insider information. No, but about the horse, somebody said theoretically that it could be the Hound's horse, and that in the books apparently, and Jared, you know more about this. It
Like a
suggested
black
that
horse.
Oh, he's
stranger.
he's black in the show.
I thought
Oh,
in the
okay.
book.
Well, because somebody in here was mentioning that it could be Stranger, and that it's kind of like signifying, of course, her sort of taking up not the Hound's mantle, but I mean, I guess in that case, literally the mantle, but just something of like a little Hound moment, Arya thing. So, I mean, but if his horse is black, then I guess that's moot anyway.
But it also could in that sense, like because it is a white horse, so that's your classic hero imagery there.
Yeah.
Her like embracing her hero image could be one, like joining back with her family or whatever. And
It's not that same horse that picked John up, right?
I don't know, but
Remember, wasn't that a white horse?
I'm not sure.
That we were like, oh, this is so stupid. Where'd this horse come from? Remember that one time?
No.
Came and picked up John?
No.
Apparently, we don't know things.
Well, maybe I'm making it up then. I swear there was one time with a horse where I was like, come on with this. Like, where did this horse come from?
I don't remember.
I'll have to
what
think
you're
about
talking
what episode that's from.
But it's a white horse, and Clegane's horse is black, so it could be that, because they kind of make that distinction of instead of following in my foot tracks or footprints.
Oh, can we talk about a missed opportunity here? By the way, oh, I'm sorry. No,
No, go ahead. No, that's all I was saying. Go ahead.
Is Arya adding Daenerys to her list? Like in the handout you get of her just saying, Daenerys Targaryen, and then it like cuts off. Like, how cool would that have been? Like adding somebody else to her list because it's like a little bit of an Arya throwback. It's maybe hinting that, fuck this. Because I mean, obviously, there's no way she walks out of this feeling neutral. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I mean, it's definitely pitting the Starks against her now, I believe.
Oh man, all problems aside, and I think that this season has really ruined a lot of things as far as build up, and characters like Bronn have just been pissed all over. And I mean, maybe not. I mean, the last episode could redeem everything, but I've given up hope for a lot of that. But I still am very excited about this last episode just because it is the last, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
coming to an end.
Regardless. Like, and I do think, like I said, this episode in a vacuum was really good. I think honestly, this episode is probably my favorite of the season so far.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I do. That Night of the Seven Kingdoms was really nice because it was just so character focused.
Yeah.
And I just liked the moments. Like, because I think I just break this season down into moments. Like, I'm trying to focus less on what's actually happened and just, like, these particular moments that you've been waiting so long to happen.
Right.
Because, unfortunately...
Can I say something really fast?
Yeah.
About the horse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking of... Don't kill me, but I was thinking of a totally different show. That there was a horse that came silly. It was Walking Dead. Remember when that one came for Rick? It just happened to be circling there.
So maybe the implication is that Arya is Rick Grimes.
Crossover. Hello. No, but it was pretty recently we watched this one episode.
They both have undead.
Yeah. So yeah, my bad. But it's the second silly white horse that's shown up in a show for me in recent history. So
who else significant died? We had the Hound, which we discussed, of course. So Varys, which we've discussed.
Pretty much all of Cersei's team got killed.
Qyburn.
Everyone did.
I mean, who else was left for Cersei's team to care about? Well, Jaime. I mean,
man, I think it's easier to just talk about who's still alive. It's
the Starks.
All the Starks are still alive. Dany, Grey Worm, and Tyrion, I feel like. And that's about all that we have left.
Yeah, and of course Sam is somewhere, but nowhere to probably be ever be seen.
Sam and Tormund are somewhere out there.
Oh, Tormund's still alive.
Yeah,
Tormund is elsewhere, which we'll, again, never see Tormund.
We'll never see him again.
Oh, and Yara. I thought Yara was going to show up in the sea battle, but
she's got to show up next episode. Something has to happen. I mean, I don't know how she could be important, but it mentioned her, it name dropped her. Is that all we're really going to get? Is it another name drop? I guess so.
Yeah. Mira Reed.
Who?
Throwback.
Oh, is she still alive?
Yeah, she
Who?
just left. Mira.
Wow, I forgot about
The
her.
person
Brand.
that the show spent, 4 seasons, 5 seasons developing, and then just literally Brand told her to leave, and she was like, "All right, see ya."
Yeah, it's the girl who helped him around everywhere, and her brother Jojin was like the other warg or whatever. And
Yeah.
she's
Yeah, the green sea.
badass.
She's still alive?
Yeah,
I thought, yeah, I forgot he did just send her away.
because
God.
Greywater
Oh.
Watch is south of Winterfell, so it would not have been affected by the White Walkers. So, Mira Reed, let's go.
Yeah, right. No one's ever gonna hear of that again.
Well, it could have been a minor plot that they did because if you think back to the Tower of Joy scene, the person that was with Ned Stark was Mira's dad.
Yeah.
What's his name? Can't believe I can't think of his name right now.
Howland Reed.
Howland, yeah, Howland Reed. And so he would have known the truth about Jon.
Mm.
So if the rumor were to come out and Dany was to just deny it and say, be like, "Oh no, that's just not true," Howland Reed would be proof, like evidence that it was true. Like he would be kind of a third party that everyone could look to and say, "Hey," he could come out and be like, "Oh no, I know what's up. Like, yes, this is true." And, he could be a witness. So, but they're absolutely 100% not going to do that. But it could technically be used.
Yeah, we've only had the back episode.
I can't hear you.
Right. You can't hear me?
No, you're a robot.
Oh, that's weird. I'm not doing
Okay.
anything. Hold on. I'm better.
Yeah, a little bit better.
I know. What's going on? All right. Well, no, I agree. Howland Reed, he is the only other person alive who could officially verify. There's Bran and then Howland Reed. So it is kind of funny that he's not even referenced again. But whatever.
It's too many characters, I think, for them to keep track of.
So, guys,
Anyway.
where are we at? What do we have left? I feel like we're kind of getting to the end here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about all I really have to say about this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was good. It kept me on the edge of my seat for sure.
For sure. Like, I thought that again, I'm not happy with the way plot lines and storylines in general are going, but as an episode, as a general thing, I thought it wasn't just spectacle. I thought there was some pretty good writing. There was good moments. There was some meaningful deaths, which is not like I just want people to die. I'm not just like, oh, I'll kill the good characters, but like, Varys and stuff like that, that all made sense to me. Like, I think it was, one point I wanted to make is, we talked before about like, I'm sure that George R.R. Martin has told them some of the big points at the end, like stuff like Daenerys and whatnot, and her turning and burning the city. I think that's obviously something that very clearly they knew, which is part of the reason why I think it was written so well. Part of it is I think they tried, of course, to probably write this one better because it's like they're sort of going out of, their parting words or whatever. But I also think that part of the reason it was so good and a lot of these storylines maybe felt interesting was because it was still part of the big plan, which George R.R. Martin wrote and not these guys.
Right.
So,
I do think you need to look at this episode or this whole show as in 2 parts, like the part that was adapted from the books and then the part that was written by Dan and Dave. Like you need to almost divide that because I do think you are getting a lot of callbacks from when Dan and Dave started taking over the majority of the writing. Like they are calling their own writing back, or at least they're trying.
Yeah.
Because Cersei and Jaime meet in that big map room, and that was like that's where they had come together before, and I think they were trying to do kind of a callback there. And so they're trying, but yeah, like I'm just trying to enjoy it for the moments it's given me. I'm a little disappointed in where it's led, but it's like I've come this far. I've come 72 episodes. I'm not.
Right.
Yeah. And it's still so much better than so many other things. It's just
I can sit here and just
almost have too high expectations for it or something.
But yeah, I did enjoy the spectacle though of the destruction of King's Landing. That was pretty,
yeah. I mean,
pretty
it was
satisfying.
very satisfying to see If not, because I mean, I know it was terrible. Technically, what you're witnessing is like this horrible thing, but it was cool to finally see some of this stuff that has been built up for so long come to fruition. Which in this case is our dragons or a dragon just ripping stuff up. I mean, granted, it was innocent civilians and unnecessary, but it was cool to finally. It's kind of like, it's like what we've been kind of complaining about with Bran. We never saw Bran really do anything outrageous. So it's like if we hadn't have gotten a really big dragon scene again, like we've seen them do a lot, but not maybe as much as they can. So seeing them really like just take an entire city, like just take King's Landing was pretty satisfying. Like it was a good payoff to have him not even like to have Drogon not even have taken a hit. The guy was so afraid like he's gonna, they're just gonna barely make it. Like Drogon's gonna get blasted out of the sky at the end, and then like the last quarter of the fight, they're going to have to do this. And now since they've been fighting, like this army, there's no surrender and yada, yada, but that never happens. It was pretty satisfying, honestly, to have Drogon just really pay off. So,
and I mean, so another way that I can say it is like, I don't really like how we got to where we are, but where we are right now is pretty interesting. Like you have like Cersei's out of the picture, the Night King's out of the picture. And now you have this really interesting kind of situation left amongst the survivors. Like, again, didn't necessarily like the path and the choices and the turns we took, but you know what? I'm pretty satisfied with where we are with the characters. So, I'm interested to see what happens.
I'm very interested to see how it all wraps up.
Yeah. So, do we want to make any sort of predictions for the next episode? I mean, I can't. Do we want to maybe pick a ruler, or do we want to, what do we want to think? What kind of predictions should we make here, guys?
Let's see. I mean, if I just had I guess since we only have one episode left, one moment that I want to see. That's good. Like we got an hour and 20 minutes left. Like if that hour and 20 minutes elapses and X thing didn't happen, you would be disappointed. Maybe we should do something like that. And mine is going to be Bran warging that dragon. Like I've been wanting to see it.
What point would it be though?
Because I was, I'm reading the Game of Thrones books right now, and just rereading them, and like they make a big deal out of Bran being able to warg into Hodor, like, and kind of how. Because they have another character named Boromir that tries to warg into another human but can't quite do it. Like it's just not good enough, isn't strong enough to do it, and like it kind of doesn't go well. But Bran has this just overwhelming ability to do it, and then like it gives Bran this like 7 foot tall giant body to be in, basically. So it's kind of cool that like he goes from being this crippled boy to this fucking huge thing, Right. And so like his just overwhelming ability to word shit, like, and just how overwhelmingly powerful he is, like that would be a nice payoff. Like if maybe Daenerys tries to attack King's Landing or something, and Bran's like, nah, dog, that shit ain't happening. And like, oh man, that would be cool. I would be down with that. I mean, that probably means Dany like dies getting like just thrown off the back of a dragon. But I mean, yeah, I kind of want to see that. I think that's maybe my moment. I want to see. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But I would want to see it.
Huh? That's interesting. I think I can't even think of what. There's so many different moments and so many different things that I think could have been.
Well, what payoff do you want to see? I mean, this is it. This is all we have.
I kind of want to see Arya change her face into somebody else. One last one.
One last Arya.
One last.
Marking.
Yeah, and like maybe it's to kill Daenerys. I don't know. I don't know what she's doing with it, but I just feel like that she's gotta have one last one after that pie scene. I mean, although that was great, but I mean, I just feel like she has this capability, right? So it's like, let us see something about it.
See
one last badass Arya moment. Hopefully with her with another face. Yeah. But
Dark Dome.
I think that I've I'm kind of on the Bran side. I don't necessarily care for it to be a dragon. I don't know what I want out of him, but I want something else from Bran's storyline. Like I can't quite decide what it is and how to word it. Like but I want something else. Like he's got these crazy powers, like you said, like just from being whatever he is, a green seer or whatever it is, I can't remember. And then now, of course, he's the three-eyed raven, and he's got all these things. And like, even if it's just that him proving and showing that this has been his plot all along. Like I know we've discussed that in previous podcasts where we're like, okay, maybe Bran knows all these things are going to happen, and he just has to wait for it to fall in line, kind of thing. And like I need, like I would, and that's what it is. I want some sort of confirmation that that's true. Like I want, like for last second, for the warging into the dragon is maybe not the point, but like last second he does, and then he's just like, yeah. So this has been my plan. Sorry, I couldn't say so, but it needed to come to this exact moment where I could use my specific power, which is warging, to actually do something easier. Because otherwise, I mean, even if he doesn't have to explain all this. Like I'm otherwise an encyclopedia, I'm useless, which he's not, but. Like, I want something else from Bran. Like, anything. Just fucking give me anything else from Bran, and I'll be satisfied. And more than just him looking like he's about to, like, fall asleep or, like, something. Like
Talk about how much he likes his wheelchair.
Yeah. Oh, this is a great wheelchair, guys. I don't like anything.
But I don't have any wants.
I literally know everything in the universe, but I'm going to talk about my
I
wheelchair.
have no personal desire. Except
like that's like I mean I'm on board with what you guys said with like Arya too, and I mean Bran working into a dragon would also be cool, but that's not really exactly it. I'm just more general. Like his storyline just needs something else to me, or it's going to be very unsatisfying.
No, I feel like that too. Also, if they don't give us anything else explanation with Bran, like, are you guys fucking kidding me? Like, really?
It's going to be catch our new spin-off series, Bran in the North.
Yeah.
Inside Bran's mind.
Yeah. Here's Bran writing an encyclopedia.
Yeah, so that's me. Otherwise, I think that I kind of am hoping that the twist ending is not this okay, now obviously Jon's the king. I'm hoping there is something cool that happens where they don't appoint Jon or just ends up fucking straight up being Daenerys. Like, wouldn't that be wild?
I would like to see that. I would like to see Daenerys burn everyone.
But my prediction is it like, I mean, I saw something on YouTube the other day with somebody suggesting that they've been foreshadowing that it's going to be Tyrion that's going to be the king. And I don't know how I feel about that, but that would be cool to me. Like, Jon is like, no, I said I didn't want this. Like, but Tyrion at this point doesn't seem any more capable than Jon, so I don't know.
Or how about this? Jon kills Dany, but then gets burnt alive by the dragon. And so that leaves Tyrion, right, to rule. And then Bran then gets to warg the dragon and ride off on his wheelchair on top of the dragon.
Yeah, he just staples his body to Drogon's back.
No, it's his wheelchair. He makes a saddle. He makes a saddle.
Right, of course.
And that's how
that would be the most ridiculous thing. All right, Jess, what do you got? How do you think this is going to wrap up?
That's what I'm going with.
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Yeah,
somehow Sansa is just the one that's in charge of everything. I don't know.
I'd be all right with that.
I don't know how. I don't know why.
Her and Tyrion get married and rule.
Yes.
No, Sansa's just going to come up and like kill Jon, and not kill Jon, kill Daenerys somehow, and she's just going to whisper to her, "Chaos is a ladder."
Yeah. Well, they do have this cheap way of doing all of these double KOs that they keep doing. They keep like.
Yeah. It's like they don't have time for just one at a time. So
right. So I think it's Dany and Jon are going to take each other down. Tyrion and Sansa get married.
You don't think still there could be a baby between them? That's the eventual ruler.
Yeah. Kill them all, burn them all.
Yeah, there's no way that Jon can.
But it's half a dragon, half a person.
Oh God. Yeah, so that's all I got. I think. I wish that I could make a cooler, better prediction, and I would if I thought there was any. Like, I would go all deep theories, and we could talk about stuff, but I just don't think the show has.
If I'm being totally honest, I just think it somehow everyone wraps up neatly and boringly, and Jon's just the ruler, and that's it.
Yeah, I kind of.
And then we're all just like, really? What?
Well, on that note,
but maybe not.
Good
Maybe
fight,
they'll-
good night.
Maybe they'll really surprise us, guys. It could be anything. Anything can happen.
The bells, your alarm
We'll
bells
see.
should be ringing, guys.
Yeah,
We'll see.
episode 5, The Bells.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I'm all right with it.